How you doing, folks? Different tact here. We're trying the phone instead of using the desktop. See how we get on. Anyone there? Hello, hello, hello. If you're watching this after the event, folks, oh, who's that? Hello there. How you doing? I've got a few here, 3. Right, folks, we're doing a live Q&A, so send me your questions, just whack them on through. I've not used this before, as you've probably figured out, but let's see how we get on. Right, any questions? Someone send us a question, anything at all. I Rollins, yes here. How you doing, bud? You alright? Right, I had a couple of questions earlier when I was trying to do it on the desktop. That was a catastrophic failure. When is the beard coming off? Never coming off, brother. Take me a long time to grow this, taking a good couple of years, so I won't be taking this off anytime soon. When am I getting a Jigsaw? Do you know what? I would love to try the new Suzuki. I would love to try the new Jigsaw GSX R1000. I'd love to give that a bash. Obviously, I can't do much at the moment, but as soon as that's fixed, I can't wait to get back on the saddle. So yeah, I'll definitely take that for a test ride. Anyone else? Keep them coming, folks. Right, I did have, how's the arm? Pete Ski 54. It's a bit buggered, to be honest with you. It's that one obviously, and I've got no lateral movement. I can flap like a bird with this arm, but nothing with that arm at all. Turns out I think the deltoid, the muscle, is detached from the bone, so I've got to start some physio, see how that goes. They're going to give that 6 weeks, and if nothing happens with that, then they'll operate. So not what I was after, to be honest. I thought I'd be back up and running by now, but no, nothing. Somebody asked a question there. Ouch. Alright, Al, how you doing, pal? Someone else was asking, how's Harman? There we go. How you doing, RTR veteran? Harman's buggered. Written off, unfortunately. They reckoned over 11.5 grand's worth of damage, which astounds me, because it was a fairly low speed, sort of 30-35 mile an hour crash, and the thing's just been written off apparently. I'm going through the normal arguments with all the insurance as we speak, and I've just got to wait for them to sort all that out. Would you have enjoyed the round the world trip more than a GS? I think it would have been more comfortable, yeah, but at the time I didn't have any comfort issues on the Jigsaw. Honestly, under my heart I didn't. It's all I'd ever known, so I didn't know anything else. And the Jigsaw to me was the bike that made me smile, so that's the one I took. A GS, definitely, that would open up a fair few more avenues, definitely. If you could ride your perfect bike on your favourite road in the UK, what would it be and where? Bike nut, that's a good question. I've got to say, and you'll probably all hate me here, but I've got to say the GS to me, it is the perfect road bike. It does everything. I can ride it faster on the country twisty lanes than I could the Jigsaw. I've been on the circuit with it, and you know it does really well. It handles itself. I was competing with sports bikes left, right and centre. I was just really comfortable on that bike. Favourite road in the UK? Wow. I think for general riding you've got to do Wales or Scotland. West of Scotland, North Scotland, even parts of the east of Scotland. But yeah, Wales and Scotland for me definitely are brilliant. You just have to get the weather. Anyone else? What we got here now? Got 7 of us on there. Hello there, folks, if you've joined. Thanks very much for popping along. Bit impromptu, but I just thought I'd give this live thing a bit of a go, see how we get on. I've gone from Jigsaw to GS Adventure and I've more fun on the GS. Yes, mate, yeah, definitely. I was exactly the same. I love my Jigsaw, I really did, and I would love to give the new one a shot, as I said. But the GS, it's comfortable, it's got more grunt lower down. I just find it more enjoyable to ride, like you said as well. Yeah, cracking bike, isn't it? I never thought I'd say that. I must be getting old. Anyone else got any questions? I should have made a list. Do you know what? Afternoon. Alright, Minion, how you doing, pal? You alright? Paul Shenton commented, it's not working. Oh, that must be on one of the earlier efforts, I'd imagine. Minion, how you doing, pal? How's things? I was supposed to meet Minion when I did that around the UK ride up Inverness way, and it just didn't work. You know, my timings were atrocious. It's what happens when you try and do the whole of Scotland in one day. So what are you going to do now with Harman written off? Buy a new one. That's my plan at the moment. Yeah, I've got to wait for the insurance to sort itself out, and yeah, probably just get a new GS. That would be my plan. There's nothing else really that tickles my bollocks, so to speak. Hey Bruce, I finally gave in bud and bought the new 2018 GSA. You think a possible Harman 2? Well, yeah, I don't know about the adventure though. It doesn't do it for me, to be honest with you. Getting bike sorted. Oh, cool, man. You're doing that, are you? Nice one. Yeah, I would have given that Distinguished Gentleman ride. I would have given that a bash, obviously, this year, but yeah, it's not happening, is it? Did the NT60 with Andy O'Hare. Oh man, yeah, it's awesome, isn't it, Roman? Really is a good road, that. Given the choice, would you recommend the drift camera or the GoPro? For me, it would have to be the drift, to be honest with you. I've had a lot of issues with the normal GoPros. The little sessions have been, touch wood, fairly good. I've had a couple of issues with them when I first started, but the drift, just for general day-to-day riding, I think it's a brilliant camera. Not sure how the new 4K one's going to be though, because it's more modular, but I haven't got my hands on it. I haven't been able to have a look at it, but I love the Drift Ghost S, really good. If there was anywhere in the world you could ride your bike, where would it be? Benjamin, well, a couple of places. I fell in love with Norway when I was there. Norway's just stunning, it's beautiful. The only issue there is the old bill, you know, they're really, really hot on speeding. You can be in the arsehole of nowhere and the old bill pop out with a speed camera. But the roads are great in most places, the scenery is stunning. Japan, the mountain roads up there are just phenomenal. Obviously don't ride like a twat like I did and crash, but they are fantastic. The biking community in Japan is really, really strong. That's a good place to go. Places in South America I was surprised, you know, Ecuador, Peru, Chile, places like that got great roads, and the southern states in America, like over Georgia, Atlanta, so Georgia, North South Carolina. Oh, I missed that one. I missed that last question. Can I bring these back up? Let me have a look. No. What do you think of the Triumph Sweet Triple? Sorry folks, I don't know how I keep the questions up on here. They kind of go and then fade away, so I'm missing them as they go. Norway lovely, the best ad for bikes I've ever seen was the Beamer Tourer in Norway. Oh yeah, what was that, Al? He's disappeared. Oh, yeah, Norway is good. Guys, a couple of you just put questions through there and they disappeared before I could read them. So you whack them back through again, I'll be able to have a read. Unless I can look at them on the big screen. Let me have a look. Does that work? Can I do that? Do the techie lot out there, do you know what happens? Can I do the camera on the phone and watch it on the screen as well? Must be possible. I don't want to knacker it. It's on the net, I'll send it to you. It was an ad for an RT. Yeah. What's the RT like? Anyone ridden that? What do you think of the Speed Triple? Well, I've not actually had a shot at the Speed Triple, but a lot of my mates have them, and they absolutely love them. They've all come from sports bikes and various different backgrounds, but they've all got the Speed Triples now. One of the lads has the new 775, and in his own work, he's got a lot of riding experience, been riding 50 odd years. Rides like an utter hooligan. He's on one of the ASBO AAP vids. Little Si that I do the tours with, he's got this new RS 775. I've never seen him ride as quick as he does on that, and he says it's the best bike he's ever had. Loves it to bits. So again, probably another one I need to get my bum on and have a little shot. Right, I'm trying to... Nah, I don't know how I do this. Anyone know how you do that? Your tunes on the vids are great. Who are the artists? Well, that's probably one of the hardest parts of the vids, is trying to find copyright-free music. I'll try again. You're down to your last £12 for the month. Do buy Bureau, coffee. Stand by, Minion. I'll get back to you with that. What were we talking about? Bloody hell. Copyright songs, yeah. Tree from Harry Potter. Yeah. Oh, blimey. This is tough, this, trying to remember all these questions. Right, so we have the last 12 quid. I'll come to that in a minute, Minion. And the one before that was... I've forgotten what the question was before that. Blimey. Right, okay, so I'll go straight on to the last 12 quid. Would I buy beard oil, a coffee, or fuel for the bike? It's got to be fuel for the bike, isn't it? It's got to be, definitely. I'm going a bit spastic at the moment. Horrible, that's a horrible word, sorry, I shouldn't use that. I'm going daft at the moment. I'm clucking like a junkie. I haven't been on a bike since the 7th of August. That's the longest I've ever gone since I started riding, and I don't like it. I don't like it. I think my missus has had enough of me now. Alright, cheers Al, thanks for posting that, mate. I'll grab it. Right, let's try and remember what the question was before. Do you ever use an ABBA stand? No, I've not, David, but a lot of the lads that race, that I sort of used to hang about with who raced, they had the ABBAs and they love them, great things. I wouldn't mind getting one from a garage once I've got that sorted. What do I think of... Oh, it's gone, it's disappeared. Anyone here know, is there a way of keeping the comments up on the screen on the YouTube Live app so that they don't disappear? Because I'm missing a lot of them. They're kind of popping up as I'm answering another question. Anyone? Question before was who are the artists and vids? Ah, yeah, nice one. Cheers, thanks, Minion. I use, what's it called, SoundCloud. I go on SoundCloud and I search for Creative Commons music. What do I think S1000 are? I'll come back to that one, Bradley. Yeah, I search for Creative Commons music. It's quite a lengthy process, to be honest with you. Process, to be honest with you. I do a lot of searching. There's a lot of crap there that's free, but there are some real gems as well, some really good artists. I did a little vid as well. If you search through my vids, there is a vid about how to get copyright free music, and that's how I did it. There's lots of paid places you can go as well and get it for a couple of quid. Can you drag questions back down the screen? Eureka! David, godsend. Thank you very much. Right. Right. Bike Nut, what editing software do you use? I use Final Cut Pro. It's either that or Adobe Premiere. I know how to use Final Cut. Well, I'm teaching myself how to use Final Cut Pro, so that's the one I go for. God, this is brilliant. This, David, you are a godsend. Okay, what other questions? Bruce, trim that beard, you look like a tree from Harry Potter. Thanks, Tack. God, this is great. Awesome. Loads of questions. Do you know what? I think I've actually started to answer most of them now. No other places. Oh yeah, we're talking about best roads in the world. Do you know there's a place, you've probably all heard of it, Tail of the Dragon. Now that is up in a mountain range near, well, between North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee, all up round there. And the roads round there up in the mountains are just awesome. On my Round the World vids, that's where that chap John Wilkins, John, if you're watching, thank you very much, brother. But that's where John Wilkins took me, and Carl and everybody took me up there to see those roads. They were great. Really, really, really good. But for me, best place in the world to ride's got to be northern Spain. Hands down, northern Spain. Pyrenees, Picos, all around there. It's just the roads I love. Love it up there. Any plans about coming to Southern Europe, Italy and Greece? Alexandros, I would love to, brother, definitely. Never been to Greece, ever, so I would love to come there. I've heard they've got some good roads. So yeah, that could be one for next year, definitely. If you'd show me around, I'll come, definitely. What else we got here? You can only modify one thing on your bike from standard. What would you do? Well, it's got to be the can. Exhaust. Definitely the exhaust for me. I like to have a loud sort of roaring exhaust. I put a Austin Racing one on a Tuono when I had the Tuono. Put the full system on it. Oh my good God, that was loud. I loved it. What am I replacing the GS with? Tack is probably going to be another GS, brother. I can't see by them at the moment, to be honest with you. I'm going to test ride a few things. I've got a couple of mates over at KTM, and I might possibly get my hands on the Adventure 1290R, so that would be cool. If the GS and Gixxer didn't exist, what bike would you own? Gee whiz. Do you know, I loved my Tuono. I couldn't get to grips with it at the time, and I wasn't in a good place when I came back from my trip. You know, it was hard getting used to being back in the normal world again, to be honest with you. That was the toughest part. So I would love to give the Tuono a go again, but it's just not got the day-to-day reliability that I need, unfortunately. I would have one as a toy. That's the next plan for the Ninja once it stops doing silly things like snapping. Oh, gee whiz, man. When we get in episode 3 of Picos, it's uploaded now, but it will be live Tuesday at 9. I whack them up there and schedule them, so it'll be up on Tuesday at 9 o'clock. Sorry, 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock UK time. Did Sharkbite get his R1 sorted? He sold it. Someone bought that bike. Wow. So he sold it and he's got a GS, believe it or not. Due to change my tyres on my GS, what are you running on yours and would you recommend? Hand on heart, what I had on there when it crashed, I was going to get another set of. That was the Dunlop Road Smart 3s. Absolutely amazing tyres. Done over 6,000 miles, which for some might not be a lot, but I don't get anywhere near that normally on my tyres. I had the Metzler Roadtech 01s on there before. Great in the wet, fantastic in the wet. But for me, they just started to skip a little bit when I got into Spain. When you get into the heat and you're giving it a fair old lick up in the twisties, it did start to skip quite a bit, to be honest with you. But the wet grip was phenomenal. I tried the Road Smart straight after that. Wet grip, fantastic. Dry grip, fantastic. I hurled its arse round Thruxton, and it did phenomenally well. And there was still life in the tyres left at 6,000 miles, so that's what I would put on, definitely. Metzler are the boys though, are they not? Yeah, I did love them. Like I had the M7RRs on my Jigsaw, I loved them. I had the Tourants and Tourants Next on the Triumph when I had that. I thought they were fantastic. I had, when I did the Morocco trip, the GS that I had there, that had Tourants tyres on it. And I've never experienced it before with them, but they were skipping about all over the place. There was me and another chap had Tourants on our bikes, and they were really skipping. I don't know what was going on with that because I've never finished that. Never had that before with them. Would you consider the S1000R or even the XR instead of a new GS? Bradley, I would love to give the S1000R a shot. In fact, I did. I had one while my GS was in being serviced, and I didn't film it. What an idiot! I should have filmed. You all there? Hang on. Oh, we're back. Sorry folks, don't know what happened there. Lost connection. I think I'm up to speed with questions. Woohoo! Blimey, there's 16 of you with nothing better to do than talk to me today. This is great. What do you think? Is live worth doing? What do you think? Hi mate, it's fine. It's hard finding alternative once you've owned a GS. Right, Fast Frankie. Yeah, I know mate, it is. It kind of just does everything you need on the road, doesn't it? Minion, yeah. How's the recovery going? To be honest with you, after about the first week, the first week I was in agony. I've never felt pain like that, as you probably saw in that video. I wasn't making it up. It was bloody sore. After about a week, it sort of, your body gets used to it and sorts itself out. But I've just stayed at that point ever since, really. The arm's still dead, there's no movement. I've got, I can move the bottom part of my arm, no problem at all. And I've got slight movement forward and back, but to the side, absolutely nothing. So I've got 6 weeks of physio coming up, and if that doesn't work, they're going to operate. Live is great and I'm at work. Iron Man, good way to spend the day. If you couldn't get another GS adventure bike, what adventure bike would you get? I'll have to try the KTM. I'm going to have to give the 1290R and the Super Duke GT, I would have to give them a shot and see, because they look my kind of bike. Hello for Sunny Perth. Alright David, how you doing? Live is brill. First time used it, but saying bye as going for a pint as in Spain. Righto. Hi David. Bradley, what's your dealership experience been like with BMW? I've had hit and miss experience travelling 60 miles to a BMW dealer in Yorkshire. Well, do you know what I've heard? It's weird that, because my local BMW dealership is Cooper's in Tunbridge Wells, and they have been fantastic, awesome. But another mate of mine has used them and he wasn't that impressed. So I don't know. But then my experience with Lind BMW over in Welland Garden City. That's where I bought Harman from. That was awesome as well. It's brilliant. Really liked it. I'm impressed with BMW. You know, you pay a bit more, but I think the service is awesome. Have you done Alps tour, and what did you think? Yeah, I've been through the Alps. Yeah, I've done some of the Swiss Alps down there, through Austria, southern Germany, all around there. I loved it. It was really good. But for me, the difference between the Alps and northern Spain is just the quantity of the great roads in northern Spain beats the Alps. You don't get the traffic that you get in the Alps. You get the occasional bit of rain in Spain, but nowhere near as much as you do over in the Alps, to be honest with you. I was doing tours to the Alps, but they just weren't popular, so that's why I pretty much exclusively go to Spain now. Have I broke it? Have I broke what, Frankie? What's that? What, the internet? I probably have. Cheers, Minion. Garden Shed Vlogs. Do you list your routes in your videos anywhere? I've seen some brilliant roads in your videos. Yes, mate. If you check Garden Shed, if you check in the description of my videos, I normally will list there where I've been. I was using the Reaver app, so I was putting a link to the route via the Reaver app. What do you think? What do you think lanes as a base stopped in Castro this year want to be closer to the Picos? Craig, where's that lanes as a base? I'm trying to remember where that is, to be honest with you. I like, what I normally do is I don't stay in one place more than one night. I just, you know, tutor my way around in a 5-day tour. But places like Ojedo, they're good to stay at. Oviedo, that's a nice place to stay at. Navia, it's another good place to stay. You know, you can fire off down round the Picos from there. And it falls mainly on the plain. Alan, I was away to say that and then thought, no, I won't, but you beat me to it. Gavin Fraser, life is great but hard if you're not a texter like me. Fast Frankie, your arm, is there another Spain trip next year? David, yes, I've already got 2 groups who went this year. I've already booked up for next year before I even could put the dates up. So there's 2 tours in June that are fully booked, but I will be getting back to be planning the tours for next year, probably October and into November. So sort of mid-November, I reckon I'll have all the dates for 2018 up on the Chicken Strips website, chickenstrips.co.uk. And they'll pretty much all be Spain, and I'm doing some to Morocco as well now. Just waiting for my S1000 XR to be built. Brilliant bikes, tried all the KTM ones. What is it? Do you know, I think, David, I'm going to have to give the XR a shot, aren't I? I just can't get by the looks. It doesn't do it for me, to be honest. But then the GS never used to do it for me, and now I love it. But plans for the rest of the evening? Well, Minion, I'm going to be editing, pal. I've got to start editing the next Spain tour. So I did the Picos one there. That was in May of this year. And then I did another one in June. So I'm just starting the edit of that now. I love my art. Uncle swapped from GS's to the XR hooligan machine. Yeah, I'm hearing that. I'm hearing it is a bit of a hooligan, which might be what I need really, because I love the GS, but it, you know, I would like a little bit more of a hooligan occasionally. Fuzzy, trying to decide where to go on a biking holiday, torn between Norway, Croatia, or even Morocco. Which would you do? Wow. Well, Fuzzy, Morocco is awesome. It really, really is awesome. The only issue there is getting in. If you're coming in on a land border from Spain, then the border itself can be a little bit daunting if you've never done any of that, but it's fine, there's no issues with it, but it's just your first glimpse of sort of an out of Europe border. It's a busy, frantic place, but put your head down, get on with it, you'll get through it, no problem. For me, Morocco, fantastic weather, great people, stunning roads, man. Get off the motorways and head up into the mountains, and it's awesome around Morocco. Gav, I haven't had much luck with Reaver. Maybe it could be because I can't work out how it works, so I use the ESR app. Yeah, I've seen the ESR, Gavin, but I've not used it myself. Reaver, Do you know what? The reason I was using Reaver was twofold. One was so that I could share the route with people on the videos, because folk were always asking. And the other one was because they ran competitions on there, and there was a competition to see who could ride the most amount of miles in a year, and I fancied my chances on that. So I was doing that, and then obviously I've crashed, so I've blown that out of the water. Do you guys get more annual leave south of the border? You seem to be able to fit in more trips in a short space of time than I can in a whole year. Minion, I get asked that all the time, man. No, we get exactly the same amount. I think I get 23 days annual or something like that. I do a lot of overtime. A lot. I work in the diplomatic protection side, and we get loads of overtime because we're so short-staffed. So I do a lot of overtime for time, and that way I can just fit my trips in. And I literally will finish a night duty and ride straight from work to wherever it is I'm going, so I don't waste a day. Do you know what I mean? I just try and fit as much as I can in, really, because you know, you've got a personal life that you've got to fit in, you've got work, and then being away on the bike. So live your life, fit as much in as you can. 4 people you would love to have a meal and a beer with, no family. Gah! I Rollins. Wow, that's a good question, man. 4 people I'd love to have a beer with. Well, let me have a little think about that. Who would be a giggle? I'll come back to you on that one. Let me make a note of that. Dinner guests. I'll come back. 4 people, dinner guests. That's a good question. Right, I'll come back to you. Where were we? Plans for the rest of the evening. Try to decide. Do you need any visas or anything to get into Morocco? No, Fuzzy. What you can literally do it on the. It's like a landing card that you have to do. So when you get the ferry across from Spain, you get the landing card, fill that in, job done as you go. It's really straightforward. You just need to have your V5, so the logbook for the bike, and your insurance. You must have those copies with you. And that's all I'll ask. It really is easy. It looks really daunting when you turn up at the border because there's people everywhere, but it's fine. How's the recovery? Barry, we've covered that quite a bit, mate, so I'll do it quite quickly. I'm a bit buggered, to be honest with you. I might need an op on the shoulder. Got 6 weeks of physio to go, see how we get on there. If that doesn't work, they'll operate. I've detached the muscle off of the bone. Chris McGregor, I'm cool, man. How are you? You alright? What do you do for the police? I work in diplomatic protection, so stand outside Downing Street, embassies, consulates, all that sort of stuff. Are you still making a DVD? Frantic, yes, man, yes I am. I have finally managed to sort the DVD out, and I've got somebody doing it. Geek Media, they are actually going to produce the DVD for me, so we've sorted that out, and it's looking like it's going to be ready for Christmas. Hopefully. It's only, 3 years late, 3.5 years late, but we'll get there. Man, you said you were in that. Thanks to the recent events, I have quite a sizable toil balance. Yeah, I know, man, that's the thing. You know, when you end up working all your rest days, the challenge can be actually, getting them off again, finding the time to take them off, because sometimes it can be hard, especially with the climate we have at the moment. BMW 1000R naked versus GS 1200. See, I took out the 1000R, I took out the S1000R, and I couldn't really give it a proper spank. I only had it for about an hour and a half, something like that. And I did like it, but it just felt so small for me compared to being on the GS. I'd need a bit more time with it, to be honest. Have you ever been in number 10 Downing Street? Yes, mate, yeah, I was there all the time when I'm working. How much was your clean-up bill in Mates Rates. Who's that? Mates Rates. Mates Rates. I know who that is. Who is that? What's your first name, Mates Rates? Have you done Ireland yet? Gav, I've only done sort of from Dublin north, on the last stage of the trip. Mark, Mates Rates, Mark. Oh, I'm struggling there. Mark, Mates Rates. I'm struggling to remember who you are. Mark, Mates Rates. You're going to have to give me a clue. But I want to go back to Ireland, definitely. I want to go to Ireland and do the full right round the Ireland tour. That's supposed to be phenomenal. Mini tour with me and the Missenden Flyer. Do you know, I'm trying to get out and do a little ride out with the Missenden Flyer. We're going to sort it out. It's just he's mega busy. He does YouTube full time, so he's really busy. But yeah, that would be cool to come and do something like that. Thoughts on the Versailles? I've never ridden it, Alexandros. Never ever ridden it, to be honest. I've no idea. It seems to be a popular bike, but I've never taken one out. That's no worries, Chris. Oh dear, mates rates. Mark, I've replied to you before. I'm sure I have. Mates rates. That's getting me. That is Mark. Mates rates. Who's my favourite vlogger on YouTube? Craig. Right. What bike? You're talking about moto vlogger. Moto vlogger, I like Lamb Chop. I think Lamb Chop's really funny. I like his style. I like the Missenden Flyer, but a lot of people have said he's a little bit sort of beige. You know, he's there's no animation in his voice or things like that. But I like him, to be honest with you. I like how he's very technical in what he does, and he gives a really good review of his products. Lamb Chops just seems a bit of a hooligan, a bit of a boy, a bit like me at times. And yeah, I'd love to go for a black with him. Baron, I've met up with Baron. Yeah, he's a good lad, actually. He really is. Al Fagan, I would love to get out on a proper ride with Al Fagan. I wouldn't see him for dust. He's a maniac. Who else we got? Some of the American ones I've followed. Walterific I've had a little look at. Snowcat, people like that. Do It With Dan, all those. But I've got to say, they annoy me sometimes, some of their vids. Smo, I quite like Smo as well, down to the Isle of Wight. I'd love to go and have a little ride out with him. What have we got here? Do you follow rate any other vloggers? Minion, I've just covered that with Craig. Sligo. I've heard Sligo's good. I want to head down there. What's the best bike for starting out on coming from 125cc to a bigger bike? Well, for me, Chris, I just went straight onto a Jigsaw. I went straight onto the GSX-R 600, and I think as long as you don't give it full bean straight away, and you appreciate the power that, you know, a 500-600cc bike's got. If you appreciate that and you don't take the mick with the throttle, you'll be fine. But it's just you'll get yourself into a lot of bother very quickly on a bigger bike compared to the smaller bikes. So I would just say whatever you feel confident with, go for it. Whatever you can afford, go for it and insure. But just be very mindful of how much power you've got between your legs, so to speak. Any of the American vloggers you follow? Bradley, like I said, yeah. I've had a look at them all. Well, I kind of follow them all just to see what they're doing. You know, Do It With Dan, Walterific, Snowcat, all those ones. It's a different style, really. I think over there, they're all into their burnouts and wheelies in the high street, and I'm just not into any of that. You know, time and a place for all that, and in the middle of a city's not it. What's your view on the graduated bike test system? Jeez, I'm showing my age here, bike nut. What is that? Is that where you're restricted to, depending on your age, you're restricted to what it is you can ride? If that's the case, as an older person, I think it makes sense, but I can appreciate how frustrating that must be for a 19, 20-year-old who's got the money to go out and get a big bike and they're not allowed to. You know, they're not allowed to go out and get them. But I think, you know, from like 21 years of age, you've got the cash, you've passed your test, off you go, really. You know, it's one of those things, just like I said, you've got to have the respect for the throttle. What have we got here? Missenden Flyer, one of the best reviewers. Captain Rambunctious. Oh, do you know what? I've not looked at Captain Rambunctious. I'll need to check that out. Andy Mancam, yeah, he's the chap in Germany, isn't he? He's been in touch a few times actually. Tally Bellyhow. To go to the Philippines. Dog, do you know, I would love to go there. I didn't go on my trip just because of the financial aspect of getting over there. so I kind of missed it all. But I would love to go and try it, definitely. Once you left me behind on a ride, however, I did get a better reception in London. Walshy! Mates rates, it's Walshy. How you doing, man? Yeah, that's right, yeah. We didn't leave you behind. You turned up for the last ride home from the trip from Silverstone on a 50cc scooter. And we did wait, but we thought you'd gone a different way. Sorry, mate. Is there a reason you're looking for more subscribers? Just that I don't understand it. I used to just browse. Do you know, it's a personal thing, really. You know, I think this YouTube lark gets addictive. It really does. You put a lot of time and effort into your vids, and you want to know that people are enjoying them and you're doing the right thing. Do you know what I mean? So I just want to make sure that people enjoy the vids I'm doing, or if you'd rather I did a different type of vid, let me know and I'll do them. Because if you're going to put all the graft in to make these vids, I would rather do it. I'd rather do the sort of vids that people want to see, if you know what I mean. It's a personal thing. I think it becomes a little bit like an ego, really, to be honest with you. You know, you want to know that people enjoy them, they like you, and you know it's worthwhile. You know what I mean? There's no money in it. I don't make any money out of these YouTube vids. Like I said, somebody asked before, and since 2011, I think it was 2012, I started. I've made about £100, if that. So yeah, I don't make the millions that everyone else does. What have we got here? Do you think there could be a similar restriction system for cars for young drivers? Do you know, I think there should be, to be honest with you. Yeah, I do think the cars should have a similar system to the bikes. Agree, the Yanks can be annoying. I think Smo. Yeah, definitely, yeah. Smo's production quality is really good. How long is the beard lasting? Do you know, I just want to keep growing it and growing it and growing it. I've got no plans to cut it at all. The missus seems to like it, so it's become my thing now, this, isn't it? I like your videos as they are nice to see something different. Not many do large tours with a sense of humour. Ah, cool, man. Thank you very much. Nah, man, you're part. Oh, thanks, man, Alexandros. Cheers. It's very kind of you, pal. Well, that's nice. That's nice to know that you all like the vids. That's good. That's good. Why again rode around the world on a sport bike before? This may be asked a lot. Why again rode around the world on a sport bike before? What you mean in there, dog? Why did I choose a sports bike? Or if I was to do it again, would I use a sports bike? Not sure what you're asking. Ah, no worries, minion. You fire off, pal. Ta-ra, look after yourself. Ewan or Charlie as a travelling companion? I think it would have to be Charlie. Do you know what? I think it would have to be Charlie. I wasn't quite sure of him to begin with, but no, I think he'd be a good lad to go on a trip with. Thanks, pal. Cheers, minion, and hopefully we'll get that ride out together, pal. Take it easy. Dog, if you're still there, pal, Dog STVPH, if you're still there, just clarify what it was you were asking, mate, because I'm not quite sure. Is the connection okay? Because I'm getting a thing up saying bad connection. Are you all still there? Around the world on a sports bike. Do you know what? I didn't, Al, at all. I honestly didn't have comfort issues. After maybe an hour and a half, couple of hours on the bike, yeah, it would be uncomfortable, but you just stop and fill it with fuel. Cheers, thanks for letting us know the connection's okay. Cheers. Is the GS your bike from now on? I reckon it probably will be, Chris. Aye. I want to try other bikes, definitely, but as my day-to-day bike, you can't beat the GS at the moment for me. Who's my favourite band? Sheesh. Who is my favourite? Who am I listening to at the moment? Let me have a quick look at Spotify. Who was I listening to? I think it was Foo Fighters, actually. Aye, Foo Fighters. I'm listening to them at the moment. I mean, why did you choose a sport bike? Ah, right, okay. For no other reason than that was the bike I'd always ridden and that was the bike I owned. So I just thought, well, I'm going to do it on this. You know, I knew Nick Sanders had done it on the R1. Jacques Lucassen has done amazing things on the R1. And I thought, if they can do it, I can do it. So off we go. That was it, really. No worries, Bradley. Ta-ra, pal. Look after yourself. Can't beat stiff little fingers. Led Zeppelin. Yeah, all good music. All good music. Which leg of the 5-day around the UK tour would you recommend? Melvin's got to be Scotland. Honestly, Scotland. Blew me away. Up in the northwest. I've been up, obviously I'm Scottish, but up in the northwest, right up in Sutherland when you get up to the top, it's just phenomenal. It is beautiful. All up the west, up the north, there's cracking roads and all up through, everywhere really. Great roads. No worries, bike nut. Ta-ra, pal. Henry Cole for me. He lives just down the road. I chatted with Henry Cole a couple of times before I went away on my trip via email. He seems a nice lad. Was the Round the World Sport Bike 1000? Yeah, it was, mate. Yeah, J6R 1000. 2012. Was it 2012? 2011 J6R 1000 it was. Was it hard to find sponsorship? Oh man, Roman, honestly, I tried. For 3 years I tried to get sponsorship and got nowhere. I managed to pick up Bridgestone, who were going to supply the tyres, but didn't quite work out like that. I got kit off of people, like Garmin gave me a sat nav, Vango gave me the camping kit, Shui gave me a helmet, Siddy gave me a pair of gloves, pair of boots, that sort of stuff. But financially, I didn't get money off of anybody. It was only once I was gone, and then when Africa happened and I ended up back after it went wrong in Africa, I then picked up Delta Energy. And that was just luck, to be honest with you. It really is near on impossible to get financial sponsorship. Is it true that most people, on seeing the Round the World bike, thought that that was the bike to take you to the actual... I've not heard that one, Walshy. No. I still get people now saying to me, you'll never get round the world on that. And I'm like, well, you know, I finished it in 2014. Tried on sport phone, sold it after 2 months. I think it's just what you get used to be honest with you, dog. Thank you, Alexandros. Ta-ra, pal. Look after yourself. Since you were on about younger riders, what the thought of older riders that haven't seen a bike for at least 20-30 years? Like me, I decided to go new and cheap to get back the confidence. That's no problem with that, is it, Gav? You know, I think confidence, biking is all mental. It really is. You know, if you're not feeling confident when you get on that bike, or you're not confident in the tyres or anything like that, doesn't matter how good the bike is, doesn't matter how good the tyres are, if you're not confident in the brain, then you're going to be all rigid on the bike, you know, and that's when accidents start happening. If you're not concentrating on the road ahead and you're thinking more about actually riding the bike, if you know what I mean, then things are going to go wrong, aren't they? So if you're not that confident, just start off easy, you know, just get yourself in whatever you're comfortable with and off you go. Biking for me, I don't subscribe to the, you know, you ride this sort of bike, you're that sort of person, you ride that sort of bike, you do this. That's a pile of bollocks as far as I'm concerned. A bike is an engine and a couple of wheels, and what makes my bollocks tingle might not make your bollocks tingle. So it's an individual thing, isn't it? So whatever floats your boat, that's the bike for you. Where are you living now in London? I'm out in Kent. I'm down in the southeast near Maidstone. So that's where it's home for me. Which is the best, the Multistrada or the GS? I've never ridden a Multistrada, but the new one I'm hearing a lot of really good things. That's maybe another bike for me to try. For me it's all about reliability, because I ride the bike 7 days a week, you know, 365 a year. I use it to get in and out of work, for all this sort of stuff. I'm just on the bike all the time. So like the Tuono, it didn't like cold mornings. I'd go out at 4:30, 5 in the morning and try to start the thing in the middle of January when it's sort of -5 outside, and it wasn't liking that. Sometimes it would just be, nah, I'm not playing today. I can't have that. I need a bike to go when I push the button. So it's maybe old-fashioned thinking Ducati means you know, unreliability. Same with the KTM, but I would need to have it for a length of time test it and be sure in my own mind that this bike is going to work all the time before I would shell out my own cash for it, if you know what I mean. If there were no financial issues, would you go around the world again? If so, would you choose a different route? Oh, fuzzy. 100% yes, I would go again, definitely. You know, if it wasn't a financial thing, obviously I've got my wife now. There's the job, there's everything like that. If none of that came into the equation and it was just a choice of, you know, would you go around the world if money wasn't the option? Money wasn't an issue, would you go around the world? Yes. It is a fantastic experience. It really is. To go to a different country and be totally engrossed into that country. You know, you're living in it. You're not flying over it. You're not in a bus driving through it. You are there, breathing it, smelling it, riding over it. You know, you're meeting the people. When you do something like that, it does change you, definitely. To get all hippie with you, it does change you. My viewpoint of people wasn't particularly great because of my line of work. You know, I tended to only ever deal with the scum of the earth a lot of the time. So that does change you, and to be totally reliant on complete strangers, you know, when you go to a different country and you find yourself breaking down, or you find yourself stuck somewhere, and you are relying totally on a stranger. And when they do open up their lives to you, you know, they invite you into their home, and you just see a different side of people that I needed to see. And I would recommend travel on a motorbike to absolutely everybody. Not sure if you would say live, but what's the fastest you've had to chase? Well, on a track, obviously, 142, but that was after it was done by Hilltop motorcycles. I think the stock speed, maximum speed, they say it's something like 136 or 39, but GPS I think is about 132, 133, something like that. With the full system on it and having it tweaked, it got up to 142 GPS. Thanks for that good advice. Just wait to grade from a 400 to 800 was just doing 2 minutes. Cool, nice one, Gav. Would you prefer to go alone or with others? It's a difficult one. I think I probably could do it with other people. I think I probably could, because in its very nature, but biking, you've got the time to yourself when you're on the bike. You know, you put your lid on, you're on the bike. Even if you're riding with 10 other people, you're by yourself almost, aren't you? It's when you get off the bike, then you can mix and interact with people. So I think I would be fine going with other people, to be honest. You'd have to be aware of each other's space, and there's times when you do need just, you know, your own space, and that's fine as long as everyone in the group's fine with that. Happy days. But definitely, you know, on my trip there were places I went, things I saw that I just thought, oh my god, you know, such and such would love that, or Nikki, my wife, she would love this, or, you know, Russ, my mate, he would love that, blah 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 blah. So it'd be nice to have other people there to experience it. Who's going to win the Six Nations? Walshy, sheesh. God, I'm so out of it with the rugby these days. I'm going to say Scotland, but who knows. What's the biggest thing you found out about yourself that you never knew before during your travels? Bike nut, that's a good question, man. I think that I'm capable of a lot more than I possibly thought I was before, and I'm a lot more resilient than I thought I was. Definitely, yeah. My favourite is when you rode your bike in the racetrack, just took off the bags, then boom. The Arctic Circle Raceway, yeah, it's great. I'd love to go back there and do a proper track day there. Have you ever had someone on one of your tours who you thought was unsafe? I've had a couple of people when I've gone away on these trips, and in the first day, they're either trying to impress, or I don't know, maybe they haven't been on a bike in a while and they're trying to give it big guns. But very quickly, people sort of just fall into the mentality of group riding. So everyone finds their own place in the formation, you know, in the stack. Some people like to be at the front, some people like to be at the back, other people like to be in the middle. And just over a day or two, that just naturally sorts itself out. I've not had anyone yet who I've had to take aside and go, wind your neck in. But, you know, if that happens, for the safety of the group, you'd have to do it, wouldn't you? But thankfully, touch wood, I've not had that yet. What's the best security for a bike? Is a chain and a mobiliser enough? Gavin, honestly, man, if someone wants to get your bike, I don't see how you're ever going to stop it. You can bolt it to the floor all you like, but if people have the time to set to with those chains, they will get through them, and then they just lift your bike up, whack it in the back of a van, and off they go. Best security advice? Gee whiz. Park it underground. London at the moment is bad. It's like an epidemic, a pandemic of bike thefts at the moment in London, and people are doing everything they can to try and stop it. But if that is your unlucky day and these scumbags decide they're having your bike, I don't know how you can stop it, to be honest. I really don't. What's my favourite beverage? Well, I like beer, Chris, but I've got right into my coffee of late. I really have got into my coffee, and I'd almost say I would choose a nice coffee over a beer, possibly. That's probably not true. If you give me a beer or a coffee right here, I'd drink the beer. Am I one of your dinner guests, that guy? Blimey, that's right. 4 people, dinner guests. Okay, let's go. I would have Colin Edwards. And my thoughts are straight to Colin Edwards as we speak, because he just lost his father last week. Colin Edwards, just because he was such a down-to-earth, lovely fella, he really was. That's one. Who else would I have? I would like the Dalai Lama, believe it or not. Who else would I like there? Whoa. Do you know what? Just for shits and giggles, Boris Johnson, because the man's mad as a box of frogs. And who else? One other person. God, you got me on the spot here. One other person. I can't think. Off the top of my head, Valentino Rossi. Pretty bike orientated, I must admit. But I reckon we'd have a good few sherbets and we'd have a good few stories there. Super 10-inch. Nah, not super 10-inch, no. Normal coffee or fancy coffee? Gotta be fancy coffee. I like the Black Rifle coffee, and I'm just trying the Contact coffee. It's a British company, bunch of ex and currently serving squaddies. They have started up their own coffee company, and I think I do. That one there, Contact coffee. They do real good coffee, actually. So yeah, fancy coffee for me. Tea or beer? I'm okay with, I've called myself TeapotOne, but I'm a coffee man. Beer, probably. Beer. Sure that drink thing isn't WKD? No, it used to be Hooch, was it not, at uni? Hooch. Have you decided which are the best tyres for your GS? Well, Neil, yeah, I would put on the Dunlop Road Smart 3s, but somebody was just saying earlier that the Conti Attacks, that are worth a shot, so I'd give them a shot as well. Will you be dyeing your beard white and dressing up as Santa for Christmas? I hadn't planned to. Bike nut, I hadn't planned to. Where does TeapotOne name come from? Well, it is in the police. We used to have in London. We used to have a mobile sort of catering wagon, like a tea wagon. So if there was a big deployment of officers at, say, a demo or a riot or anything like that, where there's going to be a lot of old bill for a protracted length of time, they would deploy this thing called TeapotOne, and it would mean you'd get 10 minutes off the front line. You'd do it in a sort of sequence. So you'd be on the front line for a while other people went and got a cup of tea and a biscuit, and then it would be your turn. They would take your place, and you would go, and you'd get sort of 10 minutes, 15 minutes just to get your head together, have a cup of tea, have a smoke if you smoked, and then you'd be back on the front line again. So I was trying to think of a name for the trip, and one of my mates said, well, you're taking a break from the job, why don't you call it TeapotOne? And TeapotOne was born. That was it. They've got rid of it now because they can't afford it. Red Stripe and Decade for me. Oh, I don't like Red Stripe. Beer mug 1. Yeah, it's not bad, eh? Beer, what kind? Good old Scottish Tennent's. Nah, I quite like it. I'm an ale man, to be honest. I do like an ale. I'm right into lots of different types of ale at the moment. Whatever's going. What's your thoughts on aluminium panniers or canvas? And have you Motolone ride panniers, rest of Lastex? Oh, have I tried the Motolone ride panniers? I was always a soft luggage man before. The Krieger bags were fantastic, awesome on the sports bike. The only time I'd ever used a hard luggage was on that Morocco trip, and I've got to say it was brilliant, it really was good. So again, whatever floats your boat, whatever you like. The hard luggage gives you added protection for what's in there. Plus, if the bike does fall over, like I dropped it in the Sahara, then the hard panniers give you a bit more protection. But the soft luggage is so easy and versatile. Alan, my beard turns white. Some bastard called me Heidi's grandfather. Well, I mean, look at this. Do you know what I mean? It's like a badger around my face. When are you coming to visit the Bruce Looky Likey fan club in North Devon? I'm there, man. As soon as I get a bike, I'll be there. Invite me, I'm there. Lotto win tonight, choice of bike and first destination. Oh, wow, Craig. I think... Ooh. If I won the lottery tonight, where would I go? I'd probably go against everything I've just said there. But win the lottery, I'd get myself TeapotOne factory, and I would head to northern Spain, Picos, Pyrenees, and then from there I'd just keep going. Pot is going legal in Canada soon. Any thoughts of changing your name to Teapot Legal? Do you know, I've never tried it. I can honestly put my hand up and say I've never ever tried pot, ever. Hated the smell. I used to hate the smell, but I quite like it now. I kind of don't mind it. I hate it when I'm out, I'm saying out with my son. My son's 19, he'll be 20 this year. But when I used to go out in public with my boy and people were smoking, I used to hate that. If you're going to do it in your own house. But it used to really piss me off when people did it out in public. But, you know, people have their own choice to make, don't they? Next time you're up in Scotland, swing by Kilmarnock. Oh, cool, man. Chris, you're on. I'll do it. Honestly, I'm always nipping about all over the shop on a bike. Beer is your vice. Well, yeah. Oh, what else we got? Have I missed any others here? Blimey, I've been online for over 40 minutes. Crikey. Right, folks, even I'm going to get bored with me if I watch that again. Any thoughts for tattoos? Got one there. How do you mean, Walshy? What, you getting another one? Have you ever rode the big high passes in France, Switzerland and Italy? What do you think of it? Yeah, I've done a fair few the Alps all around, you know, France, Switzerland, all places around there. They're great, they really are fun. The Swiss Alps, they're just a pain to get to. A lot of Switzerland is 30, 40 mile an hour, one constant sort of street, really, no overtaking or anything. If you come from the west, from sort of France in, the passes all start sort of halfway in, so to get there is a very long, boring, mundane ride. And then once you're there, if it's high of the season, say David Tarapal, if you hit the passes during the real high tourist time, then it's just caravans and mobile homes everywhere, so that can be a bit of a pain in the arse. The views are stunning. When you get up there, the views are just out of this world, they really are. But all in all, that's why I go to Spain, because there's just hardly any traffic. The roads are fantastic, there's so many of them, and the views are equally as stunning. Cheers London Heating Solutions. Will do, pal. Does your son show any interest in riding the world with you? He said he would like to. He doesn't ride at the moment. He doesn't even drive at the moment yet. But he says he would like to. My boy does a lot of video editing. He works for a company called 29 Studios in Glasgow. So he's sort of got my perfect job at the moment. But he's always saying that he would love to do his bike test. I don't know if he ever will. It would be cool to go for a ride with him. Lots of craft breweries here in Ontario. Cheers, James. Thanks, man. I want to go back to Canada, actually. I would love to get back there, and I will do it. You know, when I say I'm going to do this stuff, I'll do it, but obviously it's time and finances dependent, but when I get them, I'll be there. Who's my celebrity lookalike? Blimey, I don't know, you tell me. I keep getting told I look like Uncle Albert off of Only Fools and Horses. Don King upside down. Yeah, very good. Right, folks, is there a particular brand of motorbike you would not be seen dead on? No, do you know, I'll give any bike a shot, to be honest with you, but I can't think of any that I really don't like. I kind of like most bikes, really. I'll give them a shot. Oh, no power mode. Just signing off. Thanks, Neil. Thank you very much, bud. Glad you enjoy them. I will do, Rich. Cheers. I'll head down there, definitely. Cheers, Gavin. Right, folks, my phone's nearly out of juice as it is, and I can't believe I've been on here for 45 minutes. It was literally going to be a 10-minute chat. Thank you very much for sending me the questions. It's been really good having a chat with you. If you're enjoying it, then I'll try and do a few more of these. But anyway, keep living your life. Remember to subscribe if you've not subscribed. It is free. I don't think people realise that. But yeah, it is all free. Keep sharing the vids, and hopefully see you on the road, and keep the questions coming. Cheers, lads. Ta-ra now. Bye-bye.